Hey everyone. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Mine was okay. About usual. Still a little warm here in Arkansas. Still waiting on fall to get here. My allergies are doing somewhat better. So hopefully I sound a little bit better tonight and won't be too sniffly and wheezy. It's good to see everybody here tonight, of course. I'm going to warn you now, my farm signal is very, very sketchy tonight. So if I disappear, hopefully I will be back. I'm going to try to do everything I can on StreamYard on my laptop as far as comments and stuff, but it's going in and out on me, so I may have to revert to the old school on the phone. But as I said, it is good to see everybody here. Arctic is here. Always good to have Arctic here. How are you doing, my friend? Miss Paula is here. Miss Lisa Joe is here. Chris is here. Miss Dandelinis is here. Or she'll be back. She'll be back shortly. Miss Paula, I might have said her already. Miss Paula's here. Lisa Joe, I'm probably repeating myself. Mr. James Tate is here. Always good to have Mr. James here. Good to see you. And I know I saw Miss Marion. There she is. Miss Marion is here. Good to have you here, ma'am, as always. And I believe, yep, Miss Barbara is here. We got the whole family here. It'll come up. Like I said, my StreamYard on my laptop is sketchy. So let me get back down to where I was, 809. Just in case I have to do it on my phone. Yes, everybody please hit the thumbs up. If you're here in chat, if you're watching on replay, thank you. We love our replay crew. If this is your first time here, welcome. We are glad to have you here. Yep, just saw StreamYard on my laptop. All right, going to the phone. Let's see. Mr. Junior Johnson is here. Hello, Junior. Good to have you here. I'll try not to keep you up too late past your bedtime, Junior. And I don't know if you're in Michigan or Kentucky, but wherever you are, as always, I hope you and yours are doing well. All right, see if I can get back into StreamYard here. See what else, who else we got. They may have snuck in on me. And I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get all my pages to load to read from, because I was having trouble getting the Charley Project page to load earlier, but hopefully everything will work. Mr. Lance Jones from Canada is here. Hello, Lance. Good to have you here. Welcome, sir. Always good to have our Canadian friends here. Absolutely. Lance says there are not enough warm hugs left in this world anymore. It is so heartwarming to have all of you. Absolutely. We have lots of warm hugs around here. Warm hugs are given out freely here. Just trying to make sure I got everybody. Miss Melissa Joe is making missing posters, but she's listening. Miss Farr is here from Australia. Hello, Farr. Good to have you here, as always, ma'am. Good to see so many people here. Makes me happy. After the day I had at work, I need something to make me happy. Oh, busy. Plus, they're still working on, they've been, the town that I work in, the town over from where I live. Well, actually, in both the town I live in and the town over, they've been replacing the overpasses. In the town I work in, the overpass, I have to go back and forth across it to deliver, schlep my groceries, delivering for Walmart. And they're still doing construction. They got the overpass built, but now they're re-asphalting, repaving all the roads. So it's just, it makes it a mess to get in and out. But Anyway, it's just one of those things. Hopefully they will be done with it soon. Just making sure, see where I am in comments. See if I can do them on the phone. I mean on the computer. I think I'm in about the right place. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, so I lost it again. Okay. It's going to be one of those nights. It's going to be a dumpster fire. Hello, Sunday Doodles. Says they're in the bushes. I'm here just in the bushes. Welcome. Good to have you here. We love our lurkers. Lurkers are welcome. Welcome, Patriotism. It says, hi, can we see the cow, please? Well, that depends. That depends. We might see the cow tonight. Good to have you here, Patriotism. Just making sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay, I think I am caught up. So tonight, like I said, is our, I can get it to come up. There it is, Missing Person Monday. We do this every Monday night. And we've been going through for the last however long now, doing a state by state. And right on cue. Oh, wrong one, but Miss Farr gifted 5 Southern Guide True Crime memberships. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so who was it that wanted to, Patriotism wanted to see the cow, so let me find the moo cow. Bear with me, I'm gonna have to do it. There it is. There is our moo cow. Thank you so much, Miss Farr. That is very kind of you, as always. Thank you, ma'am, so much. You are a blessing. You are a blessing. Everybody's a blessing. Even if you can't afford to be a member, you know, donate or be a member, just subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, all that is just as important, or sometimes more important even than memberships and donations, although they are greatly appreciated because it helps get into the mysterious YouTube algorithm and helps get all this important information out to anybody and everybody, as many people as possible. And we have Mr. Steve. Oh, there he is. Mr. Steve is in the house. Hello, Mr. Steve. Always an honor and a pleasure to have Mr. Steve here. Please do check out True Crime Web. He and Mrs. Steve and the whole team do such wonderful work working with these boots on the ground, going out, working with these families free of charge through the True Crime Web Foundation to help bring some answers, some closure, whatever they can do to help these families. So it is always a pleasure to have Mr. Steve here. I hope Mrs. Steve and all the other Steves and the baby Steves and the aunts are doing well. All right, so far right now, my computer is working. I probably shouldn't say that because it will, yeah, no, yeah, we got to hear the cow. Thank you for so much, so much. You are truly a blessing. Junior's back. Hey, Junior. All right, he may have never left, but he is still here. Junior is still awake at this time. Oh, wait a minute. I almost missed Miss PJ. Hello, Miss PJ. Always good to have Miss PJ here from Lighting the Way Home. Please do check out Miss PJ. Check out True Crime Web, like I said. Check out Arctic, Out on the Prowl, Duchess, Lighting Their Way Home, or Truth and Justice Channel, all our friends. Even if they're not here tonight, you can go to the homepage of my channel and scroll down to where it says, please visit our friends. All the links are there. Please do check them out. Lance says the car horn of his dreams is the moo cow. Yep. And I have a new gift. So if anybody has had a birthday, we'll just say this month. If anybody has had a birthday this month, let me know, because I have a brand new gift that I so want to bring out. Actually, I have two of them. I use one of them tonight. So if you've had a birthday this month, let me know, and you will get a special birthday. Absolutely, Miss. See, I don't know. On the StreamYard side, I can't see who gets the gifted memberships, but yes, congratulations to the recipients of the memberships that Miss Farr so graciously provided. All right. Yes, absolutely. Welcome to all new members. Whoop, whole bunch of comment. Thank you. There is. Thank you, Arctic. Got True Crime Web, Mr. Steve's link in there. Thank you so much, sir. And there is Miss PJ's link for lighting their way home. I must have missed something. Miss PJ says 4 years is a long time. Just saying. I might have missed something. Oh, Junior says he's here not for long. I know Junior has an early bedtime. That's all right. You can always be replay crew. We love our replay crew. And Miss Paula says congrats to the new members. Right. Patriotism says his birthday is Wednesday. Happy birthday. Junior's was October 21st. Dandy says her youngest turned 22 yesterday. Hers is in December. Yes, Miss Marion says happy birthday to all the people born in October. All right. Mr. C says one of my fake birthdays is October. Oh. Yes. My grandpa would say the same thing. Junior says, as my grandpa would say, decent people are in bed at this time. This is true. This is true. All right. So for everybody who's had a birthday, let me find it. Here is one of our special birthday clips. So happy birthday. And I also have another one. I'm going to go ahead and play Snoopy too. I love Snoopy. So there is some Snoopy and a dancing birthday cake for you guys and gals. Happy birthday to everybody who has had yes, the happy dance. Yep, the happy dance. So happy birthday once again to everybody who has had a birthday this month or will have a birthday. I'm going to start trying to remember to ask every time we go live if anybody's had birthdays within like the last week or so. So we can do our happy birthday dance. All right. I think I am caught up. Get down, caught up on my phone. So just in case my Mr. Steve says the Snoopy looks like the Wednesday Addams dance. It does. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Okay. There we go. Just in case my computer decides to go down. All right. First, we have Katherine Louise Adams. And said most of these or all of these, I think I have 8 of them tonight, cold cases. So Katherine went missing on April 29th of 1993. I'm from Salina, Kansas. She's a white female. She was 35 years old at the time she went missing. She will be 66 years old today. At the time she went missing, she was 5'4" and 120 pounds. She was last seen wearing a light-colored shirt, dark-colored slacks, and a blue and white Kansas City Royals jacket. She has brown hair and brown eyes. She wore glasses. Her maiden name is Swinson, Swendson. She may use the last name Swinson Adam. Her ears were pierced. She had a freckled complexion and dimples on in her cheeks. She has a scar on her knee, left shoulder, back, and right finger. Excuse me, and moles on her breast, neck, left ear, and left cheek. So Katherine was last seen at around 4:30 a.m. on April 29th, 1993, at the Quick Shop convenience store, which was in the 1700 block of West Crawford Street in Salina. She drove a white full-size Ford van when she has legs. And if anybody is old enough to remember, it's the legs pantyhose. I don't even know if they still sell legs pantyhose anymore. They used to come in, I think, the little eggs. So that is what it means by she has legs, was written on the side of it. So that was written on the side in blue lettering, and I don't think I put it on the slide. So the van turned up abandoned at 5:45 p.m. the day after Katherine disappeared, and it was at Russell's Restaurant, which was in the 600 block of Westport Boulevard. The restaurant was closed for remodeling at that time. The van was spattered with mud on the outside, and then unfortunately, and I forgot to put up my, 1 minute, put up my crawler, my disclaimer. All right, make sure, yeah, I think I changed it. Okay, there we go. Right, let me get back to where I was. So the outside of it had mud spatters on it, and the inside of it says it was blood soaked. And it had reportedly been driven 60 miles that couldn't be accounted for. Those 60 miles that had been driven, they don't know where those miles came from. A large amount of blood and some bullet fragments were also found at a storage unit in West Salina, along with indications that someone had tried to clean up. This was where Katherine, she was a salesperson for the Legs Hosiery Company. She apparently picked up stock there each day in the van. There was no sign of her, and she has never been seen or heard from again. And authorities stated that there was enough blood in the van to indicate a probable fatality. Authorities speculate that someone attacked her when she went inside the storage unit. They said it appeared they interrupted her in the process of loading the merchandise into the van, leaving the door of the unit open. Investigators believe whoever was responsible for Katherine's disappearance knew her and her routine. Now, at the time, she was separated from her husband, and they were in the process of a divorce, and her teenage daughter was the one who reported her missing. Her case does remain unsolved, foul play obviously suspected. So if you have any information regarding Katherine's case, call the Salina Police Department at 785-826-7210. And I do believe, get these wires out of my way, I think I found some supplemental articles with most of these cases. And I'll just turn my cam off for a minute while I'm reading. And this article is from April of, sorry, I'm dropping stuff, from April of 2018. And get rid of the ads, if they will go away. Okay, they won't go away. So 25 years ago today, remember this is from 2018, someone was there with a firearm when Katherine Adam went to a storage unit in West Salina to load her Legs van with an inventory of hosiery for her regular delivery route. 25 years ago tomorrow, her 16-year-old daughter called police to report that Adam had not returned to their apartment all night. Investigating officers found evidence of foul play at the storage unit, but they did not find Katherine or her van. The case remains unsolved. Katherine's body has never been found, and her offender has not been arrested. Her van, however, was found late on April 30th, parked at Russell's Restaurant off of West Crawford Street. The outside of the vehicle was muddy. A large amount of blood was found inside. There also was a large pool of her blood outside the storage building, and a small amount of blood and bullet fragments inside her still open storage unit. The Salina Police Department Captain Paul Forrester said Katherine, 35, who had moved to Salina from Solomon after separating from her husband, was a big victim of a homicide the first summer he started working at the department. As a rookie, he wasn't assigned to work on the case. Now he is the captain of the detective division, and he is about to assign a new detective to take over Katherine's case. He says, when a cold case gets reassigned, a fresh set of eyes looks at the evidence. They may think of something in a new way, or they may decide to re-interview someone, and that can be a good thing. Absolutely. Fresh eyes are always good. Or at least that's what I've always heard. Ricky Tabrug, who launched the Kansas Missing and Unsolved Facebook page about 6 years ago, said that Katherine was one of the first missing persons he featured on a poster created for family and friends to print and distribute. He says, I've lived here all my life, and it's just one of the cases that has stuck. Sorry, ads are popping up. It is just one of the cases that has stuck with me all these years. Many longtime Selenians remember when Katherine went missing. Although her homicide is not the only local unsolved case, it is the only case in which the victim has not been found. Heavy rains during the days that followed her disappearance hampered the search for her body, and it might have washed away tire tracks. In the final image of Katherine taken at 4:33 a.m., April 29th, by a surveillance camera, she's backing out of the door of the quick shop on 1727 West Crawford, wearing a blue and white Kansas City Royals jacket and holding a receipt for gas and a newspaper in one hand and a cup of coffee in the other. That image is one of the few left for Katherine's daughter to remember her by. In an interview with the Journal 5 years ago, Laura Adam said what happened to her mother had largely shaped her life. She learned martial arts so she could protect herself from an attacker, and she struggles with sadness. She says, it bothers me tremendously. I don't even know how to explain to people the sadness of never having closure, of never having a gravesite to visit. Knowing what happened is a fundamental part of being able to accept the reality of a loss, said Dr. Ryan Poling, a postdoctoral psychologist at Viridian Behavioral Health in Salina. He said getting that information, even after a long time, can be helpful. Absolutely. Anyone with information about what happened to Katherine could make a difference by calling the KBI, I'm assuming that's the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, at 800 KS Crime, or the Salina Police Department at 826-7210, or the Crime Stoppers hotline at 825-TIPS. Crime Stoppers callers can remain anonymous, and information that leads to an arrest could lead to a reward of up to $1,000. Polling said for family and friends of Katherine or anyone whose homicide is unsolved, knowing that others remember and care, and that police still want to find answers, would be comforting. He says having those fellow travelers is huge. Knowing someone is with you makes a world of difference. Although Forrester said much knowledge about a case can be lost when an investigator leaves the force, he knows what a difference new eyes and new technology can make for a cold case. And I think that was all on Katherine's case, because it's talking about several different cases in this one. So it's just a little bit of additional information on Katherine's case. So most definitely, it's been what, 30, let's see, 93. I'm not good. Somebody had to help me with math. In that article, it had been 25 years, and this article was from 18. So over 30 years now with no answers. So sad, so sad. All right, get caught up in your comments right quick. Let me find out, figure out where I left off. I forgot to, okay. There's Mr. C's comment about the Wednesday dance. I remember that one. Yeah. Junior says he hasn't seen anyone wearing pantyhose in years. Yeah. Growing up, going to church, we had to wear them to church. Because back when I was, back in the 70s, 80s, at least the church we went to, most churches, girls wore either dresses or shirt and skirt, and you wore pantyhose, most definitely. So I said, I don't even know. I know they still make pantyhose. I don't know if they still make the Legs brand, but I haven't worn them in years. Paula says, are the Kansas City Royals still a team? I think so, but I'm not sure. I don't watch a whole lot of baseball. I know the World Series is going on right now. I don't even know who made it to the World Series. Yes, Chris says yes. Kansas City Royals are still a team. Dandy says her cousins go to every home game for the Royals. Lance says, sounds like it is most probable that it was either her husband or an associate of her husband. That is possible, because they did say either, I don't know if it was in the Charley Project or the article, that it was somebody who definitely or probably knew her routine. So it could be husband, it could be somebody who was watching her, stalking her, somebody possibly that worked there. We don't know. Yep. Red flags, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. More red flags. Welcome, Okie Crime News. Let's say hi, new here. Welcome. We're good to have you here. Always good to have new people here. If you would like to, you can tell us how you found us. If not, that is fine. However you found us, we are glad to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Absolutely. Don't forget to upvote. Hit that like button. Helps with the YouTube monster algorithm that I still haven't figured out. Yep, Miss Marian's got her red flags going. Miss Paula's got red flags. Welcome, welcome. Well, if it'll come up. My fingers are moving. Thank you. Far's got the red flags going. That is a thought. As Sunday Doodle says, just a thought. States could set up missing info in prisons, rewards for info that leads to the missing or the offender, or incentive. That is true. That is true, because a lot of times, if prisoners do actually have legitimate information, and sometimes they may, in some cases, unfortunately, they don't have legitimate information, but they just look to make some kind of deal to get some time off or some amenity while they're in prison. But that is a good thought. That is a good thought. Yeah, maybe in jails too. Apparently, Sunday Doodles is a Royals fan. So I don't watch a whole lot of baseball. If I watch baseball, it's usually college. If our Razorback Diamond Hogs make it to the College World Series, which I don't think we even made it this past season. Yes, Mr. James says, sounds like someone who knew a lot about her day-to-day routine. Absolutely. And see, I don't know what the motive would be, because she probably wouldn't be. She would have just been delivering or transporting stock, probably to distribute to stores. So you wouldn't think that she would be carrying money or anything, or a large amount of money or anything of that nature. So yeah, in my opinion, somebody who knew her, knew who the routine, like somebody said, Jay or Lance or whoever it said earlier, could be the husband. They said they were in the middle of it. Not saying it is. I'm just, throwing things out there. Said they were in the middle of a divorce. So excellent. Okie says, you are in my algorithm. Well, thank you, YouTube. We're getting in the algorithm. I'm hoping that maybe since we have made and surpassed 1,000 subscribers, that, I don't know if that's how it works. Maybe it'll start throwing us into the algorithm more, to more people. But once again, good to have you here, Okie. my finger, Dandy said her fingers are broken tonight. Mine are too. We've got some rain coming in, maybe by Wednesday night into Thursday, and I can already feel it. I can already feel it in my joints. My joints are aching. It's all part of getting old. Okay. Oh, I should know by the name. Okie Crime News. Yeah, absolutely. If somebody wants to throw in the link to Okie Crime News, most definitely, we will definitely check you out. Thank you for being here once again. Always good to have other creators in here. All right, I think I'm caught up. We'll see who we have next. We have Christopher Michael Clark, and hopefully it won't take too long for the info to come up. Oh, it came right up. Thank goodness. I shouldn't have said anything. Now it's gonna mess up. So Christopher went missing on January 12th, 1985 from Dodge City, Kansas. He's classified as endangered missing, a white male. He was just 20 years old when he went missing. He will be 59 years old today. When he went missing, he was 5'10" to 5'11", 150 to 180 pounds, with brown hair and green eyes. His nickname is Chris. He has a half-inch scar under his chin, a 3/4 inch scar over his eyebrow, and an oval birthmark on his left shoulder. So Chris was last seen in Dodge City on January 12th, 1985. He had celebrated his 20th birthday that evening at Stonewall's, which was a bar in Dodge City. And he left the bar with two friends shortly before closing time. Now, it doesn't say what time closing time was. His friends dropped him off near Mineola and Beeson Roads. Apparently, he was supposed to meet a woman from the bar there. And he was also supposed to meet a woman in South Dodge City that day. And it is unknown whether the meeting took place or who the woman was. So I don't know if it was the same woman or two different women. Because it says he was supposed to meet a woman from the bar, and it says he was also supposed to meet a woman in South Dodge. So make of that what you will. After that, he has never been seen or heard from again. But 6 months after he disappeared, someone did find his wallet at a salvage yard and anonymously returned it to his family. The wallet contained his ID and other documents. So he was declared legally deceased 8 years after he went missing. A few details are available in his case. Foul play is suspected. And it says that he lived in Mineola, Kansas at the time of his disappearance. So if you have any information on Chris's case, you can call the Ford County Sheriff's Office at 620-227-4590. And let me find an article. I have an additional article. Get it to come up. And the headline was possible break in 25-year-old case. So, and I skimmed through the articles when I read them. Okay, so this article is from August of 2014. It says possible break in 25-year-old Dodge City disappearance. So for the past 25 years, longer than that now, authorities have puzzled over the fate of Chris Clark, a Mineola man who disappeared from South Dodge City. By now, Ford County Sheriff's investigators have information leading them to believe that Clark was the victim of foul play. He was last seen on January 12th, like we talked about earlier, after celebrating his 20th birthday party at Stonewall's. He left the bar shortly before closing time with 2 friends. His friends drove him to the area near Mineola and Beeson Roads, where he was supposed to meet a woman from the bar. They dropped him off and drove away, and sometime that night he vanished. Oh, man. This article has got a paywall. It let me read all of it when I brought it up. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a different article. That just irritates the mess out of me. Hold on one second. Sorry, had to blow my nose. Let me see if I can find another article. One second. That just irritates me because I know it let me read all of it when I was searching. Looking. Well, maybe that's why I chose that one, because that was the only one that came up. Here's your, oh, never mind. Okay. Some other Christopher Clarks keep popping up. It has to do with the Lady Bird Lake deal. Well, shoot. All right. Well, now I guess we can't find out what the new information was that they got that there was foul play. Okay, now it's got a little bit more here. Hold on. Oh, driving me nuts. Okay. So we were at the part. 6 months later, someone found his wallet, which still had his ID and other documents at local salvage yards. They turned it over to his family, but efforts to track Clark down proved fruitless. 8 years after he vanished, his family went to court, had him legally declared deceased. 25 years later, authorities still don't know who Clark was supposed to meet the night he disappeared, nor has the person who found Clark's wallet contacted authorities. So that, to me, that's a red flag right there. But investigators received new information about the case in the past 2 months. Remember, this is back from, 2014, so 10 years ago. Under Sheriff James Lane said that the sheriff's office received a tip concerning Clark's disappearance from a confidential informant in mid-November, shortly after the Dodge City newspaper published a story about the case. That information, coupled with new interviews with possible witnesses, helped investigators track down a vehicle that may have been involved in the case. Investigator Pat Williams said authorities collected possible evidence from the vehicle and sent it to the KBI lab in Great Bend for testing. And some of the collected material was also sent to the FBI for additional testing. Another possible break in the case came 2 or 3 weeks later when investigators received an anonymous letter that supported the information from the confidential informant. The letter bore a Jetmore, I don't know if that's another city in Kansas, a postmark, but it was unclear whether the writer was from Jetmore. Lane said investigators want to contact the writer in hopes that he or she can provide additional information about the case. Lane and Williams said they will probably ask Ford County Attorney Terry Malone to consider opening an inquisition, much like a grand jury proceeding, into the case. They said they may discuss the case with him at some point that month. So, I've heard of inquisitions and grand juries, but if they were talking about having an inquisition, which is kind of like they said, a grand jury, I'm assuming they meant they had enough evidence to name a possible suspect. Anybody out there who has more legal knowledge than me can let me know. But they said they had the evidence they had sent off from this vehicle. They had information from the confidential informant. They got this letter that backed up the information from the confidential informant. So I'm assuming that meant they had enough on somebody, possibly, if they were talking about considering opening an inquisition. So we will keep our eyes on that and see if anything, that is the latest article I could find on that case. So, all right, let me get into your comments. Once again, okay. I always forget to mark where I was. All right. Oh, Artist talking about the algorithm. Says, if you figure it out, let me know. I have 15,000 stubs and still don't get an algorithm. I know. I cannot figure it out. I just get on here and do what I do. And if it gets in the algorithm, good job, yay. Thank you very much, Dandy. There is Okie Crime News. I will definitely be checking it out. And I think I saw a comment that Arctic said he's been subbed to Okie for a while now. So we're late. I'm late to the game. Oh, yes, everybody do please go check out Okie. Absolutely, I do too. Okie says, I love meeting new creators. Me also. Me also. Me too also. See if anybody's... Yes, absolutely do check out our Arctic Fox True Crime. Definitely check out True Crime Web, Mr. Steve. Okie says, I like hearing missing cases or someone knows something. Yeah. Yes. Can't forget our Dave, our Owl on the Prowl. Do check out Dave. He usually does one on late Saturday. You have to be a night owl or an early bird to catch Dave live. Late Saturday night, early Sunday mornings, he does his Weekend True Crime. And if there's any weather going on, sometimes during the week, he'll do a weather report for us. But do check out Dave. He is wonderful. Oh, Miss Farr gifted another 5 Southern Gal True Crime memberships. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know what's coming. For anybody new here. There's our moo cow again. Thank you so much, Miss Farr. You're an angel. You are an angel. Thank you, thank you, and congratulations to once again. I can't say who got them, but congratulations to everybody who got who were the recipients of the gifted memberships. Absolutely, far is beyond generous. Far just blows me away. Blows me away. Mr. James says he just joined Oki's podcast. Thank you, thank you. Yes, Chris says, Far, you deserve a great big virtual hug from us all. Absolutely. One of those warm, fuzzy hugs that I think Lance was talking about earlier. Lots of warm, fuzzy hugs for Miss Farr. Absolutely. Welcome to all the new members. There's Miss Gail Hurd. Hello, Miss Gail. Good to see you always. Always good to have Miss Gail here. Yeah, that is true. Lance says seems wrong that his friends would drop him off late at night near some corner. Yeah, if you're going to meet, and I'm still confused or unsure if he was meeting one woman, because it said that he was going to meet a woman from the bar. But if he was going to meet the woman, if he and the woman were at the bar at the same time, why wouldn't they just leave the bar together instead of going off and meeting on some random street? And then it said he was also supposed to meet another woman from South Salina, or South from somewhere else. Yeah, why would I agree with you? Why would you just drop him off at a random street corner? Makes absolutely no sense. Yes, and Lance also says also the wallet at the salvage yard is a red flag. Absolutely. And it said that somebody returned it to the family. Now, if it had his ID in there, your ID has your address on it, so they would have known where to take it to. It did not say if this person knew the family, but I would just assume that they didn't. That is a good point. Lance says there must be a record of clients from the salvage yard prior to his wallet being found. Good point. Absolutely. Dandy says, I would like to know who the woman was and why she never came forward. Yes, ma'am. Arctic says, I would think that would be sufficient to name a suspect. Are you talking about the in his case? Oh, I know what you're talking about. The evidence, the information from the private or the confidential informant, the letter that backed it up, and they found the vehicle that they found evidence in that sent off to the KBI and the FBI. Absolutely. There's Miss Doris Bove. Hey, Doris. Good to have you here as always. Yes, Lance says the salvage yard is the clue that should lead to a suspect. I'm wondering how close this salvage yard is to where he was dropped, where he was, whatever street or street corner or wherever he was dropped off at. I wonder how close that is to the salvage yard. Miss Paula says she's heard. Whenever I hear Dodge City, I think of Gunsmoke. That old TV show. Love Gunsmoke. Lance says you leave a record when you go to a salvage yard. I don't know about back in the 80s. I don't know either. I don't know either. I know that back in the 80s, we had a salvage yard a couple towns over that my dad would go to get car parts. But now I don't know what all that entailed. It had to show the ID or whatever, had to fill out anything of that nature. Yes, we do love our owl. Yes, Chris says Christopher's case is crazy. Absolutely. I want to know about this one woman or two women who was supposed to meet. Why the friends just dropped him off on a street corner or a street instead of an actual place. I want to know how far the salvage yard, how far or close the salvage yard was to where he was dropped off that night. Like Dandy said, I want to know why this woman or women never came forward. I want to know who found the wallet and took it back. Now, whoever found the wallet could be completely innocent, just happened to find it. It could have been, like we said, it could have been one of the salvage yard employees. But they returned it to the family, and I don't know. It didn't say if the family took it to the police to maybe get any kind of fingerprints or anything like that off of it. It did not say. Yes, I have lots and lots of questions about this one. This is also a possibility. Lance says he could have been struck by a drunk driver that night that he was dropped off on that corner. That is also possible. But it looks like, because most of the time if somebody it's a hit and run and they just leave the person, unfortunately, in the road or wherever they end up at after they get hit. I'm trying to think of any cases where there's been anybody that pedestrian that was a victim of a hit and run where they took the body and hid it somewhere other than just maybe pushing it off into a ditch or something to try to conceal it. But it's possible. It's possible. Yes, everybody loves the moo cow. Yeah, they definitely, I agree, definitely something going on. But yeah, that is the question. Well, it says Far is a new member, but I think Far has been a member. May just been sometimes it says new member when it redoes. But thank you for being a member, and guess what? We get the moo cow again. Thank you, Ms. Farr, for all your support and for all your generosity in gifting memberships. Thank you so much. You are a joy. You're an absolute angel. Okay, Mr. James says, talking about the salvage yards, you have to show ID for the bill of sale. Excellent. Yeah, like I said, back in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, my dad did go to, because he's a shade tree mechanic. Well, he's better than a shade tree mechanic. He could have been a professional mechanic. He was always building cars to drag race. So he would go to the like I said, there was a salvage yard, a car parts salvage yard not too far from where we live, and he was always going over there and getting stuff, picking up car parts, buying car parts. Just making sure I don't. Yep, more red flags. Don't make me bust. Should I bust out the? I don't want to scare anybody new here. I'll bust out the big red flag gif and then scare some people. Everybody be taking cover, jumping under the desk. All right. Hey, Bling or Amadahari. I still want to call you Bling. Good to have you here, my dear. You're not late. You're fine. You're fine. That is a good point. Sunday Doodle says, how do we know they dropped him off anywhere? That is a good point. Because the friends, technically, were the last ones to see him and to be seen with him. And these women have apparently never came forward saying, hey, yeah, they dropped him off and I was with him and whatever. That is an excellent point. Excellent point. All righty. Get caught up. Yep. Absolutely a good question. All right. I'm caught up in comments. So let me mark this one. That way I will know where I'm at. All right. Next we have Tony Epps Sr. Let me get his information. And a quick drink. So Tony went missing on March 21st of 2007 from Wichita, Kansas. He's a black male. He was 36 years old. I'm assuming maybe that's how old he is now. At the time he went missing, he was 5'8", 315 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. So Tony was last seen in Wichita on March 21st, 2007. He left to see a friend and he never returned home. At the time of his disappearance, he drove a white 1996 Chevy Tahoe with a U-Haul bumper sticker, a tailgate, black rims, and large tires. He last used his cell phone at 5:55 p.m. on the day that he went missing. And after that, he has never been heard from again. On March 23rd, so 2 days after he went missing, his vehicle did turn up at the Green Mill restaurant at Kellogg and Rock Road. His cell phone was inside and the vehicle was locked. In July of 2007, authorities charged Jeffrey Salas, also known as Jeffrey Hopper, and I believe that is the smaller picture on the slide, with Tony's homicide. Investigators stated that Salas and Tony participated in what they say criminal activity together, and that Mr. Salas there took his life over an $18,000 substance debt. It says a small amount of Tony's blood was found in an SUV that was linked to Salas. At his trial in the spring of 2009, Salas's defense argued that there was no evidence that Tony was deceased. So one of those, no body, no crime. He was acquitted of all charges in April of 2009. Tony left behind 2 young sons whom he saw daily. His family stated that he did not use illicit substances or drink alcohol. His body has never been found, but authorities obviously suspect foul play in his case due to the circumstances involved. So if you have any information on Tony's case, you can call the Wichita Police Department at 316-268-4181. And I do have some additional information. Stop my cam for a minute while I'm reading. If it'll come up, it's taking its time for a second here. Oh, I may have to close it out and start a new tab. Give me 1 second. There it is. All right. So this article is from November of 2020, so it's not too old, about 3.5 years old. It says inside a little red folder, Latasha Latoshia Holmes, thumbs around each piece. Filled with phone records, court documents, and photographs. The papers inside document the last moment of her brother, Tony Epps' life. Tony was last seen on March 21st, 2007. He left his home to meet up with a friend, who was never heard from again. His car was found in the parking lot of the Green Mill restaurant at Kellogg and Rock Road in Wichita. His cell phone was found inside the vehicle, but there was no sign of Tony. Latoshia has made it her mission, along with the rest of her family, to find out what happened to her brother, who would be 50 years old today. So he would be 50, 53, 54 years old in 2024. She says, I cannot let go of things like this because I know if it were me, he would never give up. If it were me, that's why I still push and I still ask questions. I still make phone calls. I still Google every single day to see if anything else comes up or somebody feels guilty or somebody says something. For the longest time, Latoshia said she was always under the impression that her brother was a missing person, but that changed in spring of 2009. A man was accused of owing Tony $18,000 and taking his life. The prosecution said a man called Wichita police after Tony disappeared and said the suspect had wanted to store a SUV in his garage, and the man suspected the vehicle was stolen, and this was reported by the Associated Press in April 2009. Police later found the SUV in Oklahoma City. A small amount of Tony's blood was found in both the SUV and the garage. DNA put Tony and the suspect together the day that he vanished. The suspect's ex-girlfriend said that he told her, quote, I did it, when talking about Tony, but he didn't elaborate as to what he exactly meant. And a jury found the suspect not guilty of first-degree homicide. It was jarring to learn the details of her brother's life. Latoshia said she never knew Tony was involved with anything bad. She says he was a good man who saw his sons, who were 11 and 8 at the time, every day, and the boys were left in the dark. It just hurts every day, said Tony Epps Jr. I just want closure for me and my little brother and my whole family. That's all we want. My aunts, my uncles, my grandma, we just want closure. Growing up without a dad has weighed heavily on the younger Tony and his younger brother. Every once in a while, I do cry thinking about it, but it is hard. I don't have anybody to go see him at a gravesite or anything. I always wonder if he's really still out there. I just want peace, justice to be served, or just find his remains so we can put him to rest. When the trial ended in 2009, the missing persons case of Tony Epps Sr. ended. Wichita police said unless new evidence emerges, it remains inactive. Oh, that's so heartbreaking. Latoshia has not given up, but she feels like the system did. While she is grateful for the work of investigators and advocates, she hopes someone will come forward with any tip to help revive the case. She believes multiple people may be involved in her brother's disappearance, considering that the activity he is accused of being associated with and the fact that he was such a big man. She says, I guarantee you a 300-pound man does not pass away at the hands of one person or by one person without anyone knowing, or there's so many people that I'm sure now what happened, so many, and we just don't know what happened. Latoshia continued, I'm beyond vengeance. I'm beyond wanting somebody to get payback for it. Just let us have him. Just tell us where he is so we can lay him down and then we can rest easy to know, okay, he is gone. This is fine. Lay him down and let these children be able to grieve somewhere that they can take flowers to. Oh, it's just heartbreaking. Heartbreaking for that family, for his sister, his two sons. breaks my heart. All right, let me get down to where I left off, right there. Okay. Okay, so Lance says, I think going back to Christopher's case, says, well, the salvage yard lines up with the thought that a drunk driver struck him, might have been there to get parts to repair the vehicle. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, Paula says Dodge City is pretty famous for all the cowboys they used to have. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch some Gunsmoke now. Send me some Marshall Dillon. Which one are you talking about, Sunday? Oh, are you talking about on Tony's case? Let me go back. Salinas was his last name. Hold on. I'll get it. Jeffrey or Salas. Jeffrey Salas, if that's the one you're talking about, the smaller picture. Jeffrey Salas is how you spell the last name, if that's who you're talking about. Chris said Tony's case is not one that he's familiar with. Yeah, I'm telling you, Charley Project is an excellent source of, unfortunately, so many missing cases, missing persons. But it is a good resource to have to be able to do things like this, to help get the information out and to bring awareness. Oh, my comments jumped. Because I had there it is. Lance says a big guy like that would be tough to move. He must still be wherever he was unalived. That is a good point. Yeah, because he was a big fella. 5'8", 300, over 300 pounds. Yep, I agree with you there. Absolutely. Yep, Miss Marion's got her red flags. Absolutely. Mr. James says, God bless him and his family. Breaks my heart too. I know. Hearing his, that's why I always like to find these supplemental articles with, especially with comments and interviews with family members. It just, because as we all know, aside from the victim, the family members who lost a loved one are the most important parts of these cases. So his sister, his sons, who were, I think it said 8 and 11 at the time that he disappeared, having to grow up without their dad. It's a new name. Apparently they got a membership. Let me see if I can get this right. Flicker Your Foot. Tracy Dellin says, thanks for the membership. Welcome. Good to have you here. Good to have you as a member. Welcome, welcome. Always good to have new people here, especially new recipients of memberships. Yep, sending Far some love. Absolutely. Miss Far is an angel. And there's our friend JP. Always good to have John Paul Hansen here. Says, hello, fam. Thank you, Southern Gal, for sharing me out. Absolutely. I've just been exhausted from going through the tail end of being sick. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling better. I'm heading back to bed, but bless you all. Bless you too, JP. Please do check out JP's music channel. And he also has a second channel, Analyze This, where he shows true crime stuff. So if somebody hasn't already, please absolutely stick both channel links in there to support John Paul. He is also on Spotify. I did share. He did a post, a short video. I shared it on my community tab, talking about his Spotify. So please do check him out on Spotify. He's a wonderful musician. There's Miss JC Ann. Welcome. Good to have you here, my dear. Oh, she may be already gone. I don't know how far I'm behind. Oh, Miss PJ says I'm here for 10 more minutes, then it's my bedtime. Well, thank you for staying up for a little while with us. Absolutely. Always a pleasure to have Miss PJ here. Junior's probably already asleep. Junior was had heavy eyelids earlier. About how long? We only been here an hour 15 minutes. About 45 minutes ago, Junior already had sleepy eyes. Yes, this is true. Miss Lisa says, "Don't take everything listed in the details as a fact on the Charley Project." Don't on the Charley Project, though. That is true. Yeah, that's why I try to find some alternate sources of information. Also, yes, absolutely. Share and share again. Thank you, Mr. James. Miss PJ's got some hearts going. Yes, the listings from Charley Project are often compiled with information from early reporting. Yes, that's why when I Google search and try to find the most recent article that I can about the case to see if there are any updates or different information. Absolutely. Uh-oh. Miss PJ is says Farr is going to steal her ice cream. Y'all don't be talking about ice cream. You'll make me want ice cream. And apparently, in my older age, I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't have ice cream a lot anymore. Lance says, or he, talking about Tony, was taken somewhere that his body would not be found easily before he was unalived. I feel like he must be in the same place he was killed. So I agree with you. Yeah, it will be very, very difficult. I agree with you about moving a large person. Most definitely. Most definitely. The only way, and I'm not going to get graphic, but you guys will know what I'm talking about. The only way I can see to move a large person, a whole bunch of comments just popped up, is if they were in more than one piece. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I think he's most likely wherever he was unalive, that's where he is. But that is just my opinion. Nope, Junior is still here. Junior says he's 5'8" and one. You're tall, Junior. 5'8", 164. He was big. Yeah, he was 5'8", 315. According to the Charley Project. And that article said he was around 300 pounds. He was a large fella. He would have made a good football player. Good football player, good professional wrestler, something of that nature. Let's get caught up and we will move on to our next one. Thank you for being here, Lance. Always good to have Lance here. Hope you get to feeling better. Oh, now Farr's gonna call on Miss Paula to help her against Miss PJ. And we're gonna have a wrestling match here on the live stream. I don't know, Mr. Steve's still here. We might have to get Mr. Steve to be referee. Yeah. Miss PJ says she tends to not sleep. Same here. Junior says he's still here, but going to bed soon. Thank you, Junior. Flicker says, I always put everyone to sleep. Yeah, Miss Lisa Joe says even Barb Cotton has misinformation on her Charley Project profile, and you and Miss Lisa Joe has worked on Barb Cotton's case. Not Miss PJ. Sweet dreams. Yes, Paula, that yes, on the bottom corner, that is Salas, Jeffrey Salas. That is, he was actually charged with the homicide of Tony, but he was acquitted. So, but yes, that is the suspect. Yeah, Sunday says he owed 19,000 for substances. Don't think he'll be found. Yeah, unfortunately, somebody decides to say something. Let us say, if you know something, say something. But when it comes, unfortunately, to that business, most people aren't going to talk unless, unless there's some kind of reward or incentive to talk. Yes, there are absolutely so many heartbreaking stories. Miss Lisa Joe is still working on that poster. You'll get it done. You'll get it done. Thank you, Arctic. There is JP's music channel link. And there is JP's Analyze This True Crime link. Thank you, Arctic. All right, I'm caught up. Oh. Chris says he's a night owl. I am too, because I don't have to get up early for what I'm doing for work now. I can go to work whenever I want to, so I don't have to get up early. Gail says she's having nightmares about the Dallas Cowboys. So is my brother. My middle brother's a Dallas Cowboys fan. He was not happy with what they played last night. Yeah. All right. Next we have Megan Foglesong. And I think this one did get a pretty good amount of coverage. Let me get her information up. All right, so Megan went missing on November 30th, 2015 from Alden, Kansas. She's a white female. She was 21 years old at the time she disappeared. She'll be 30 years old today. At the time she disappeared, she was 5'3" to 5'6", 140 to 170 pounds. The only clothing jewelry description is possibly an infinity necklace. She has blonde hair and green eyes. She does have a lot of tattoos. She has a flower design on her left hip, a dream catcher on the outside of her left calf, a design, just says a design on her left wrist, of a black inked heart and infinity symbol hearts linked together, and the words thick and thin, and an infinity symbol on the right side of her upper chest. She wore glasses or contacts and occasionally dyed her hair. She has a long scar on her right thigh, which says she was cut as a child and had to have 19 stitches. She had also previously broken her arm and her ankle. Her navel and tongue are pierced. Her ears are pierced twice in the lobes and once in the cartilage. So Megan was last seen in Alden, Kansas. It says sometime in late November or early December of 2015. She is actually from Oneida, Illinois, but she had moved to Alden prior to her disappearance. Her last activity on her Facebook account was on November 30th. After that, she was never heard from again. It says due to her lifestyle, she was not reported missing until February 10th of 2016, over 2 months after she was last seen. It says that she was spontaneous, but she had never gone for an extended time without contacting her loved ones. She had a prepaid phone, and the carrier does not keep records for it after 10 days. So unfortunately, authorities were not able to use phone records to help with the investigation. Her boyfriend prior to her disappearance was David L. Madden. And I believe that is who is the smaller picture there. There was DV in the relationship. And at one point, he had kidnapped her, put her in a straitjacket at a firearm point, and threatened to assault her. They had broken up several times, but they kept reconciling. Megan told two friends that if she ever disappeared, he would probably be the one responsible. So that is the biggest of many red flags in this case. On November 30th, the day of Megan's last Facebook activity, she replied to a message from a friend and said she was at Madden's house. On December 1st, Madden told the local sheriff that he had caught Megan stealing from him. They got into an argument and she left. Once again, that same story. Got into an argument and the person who's missing left, is never seen again. On December 7th, Megan's phone sent a text to a friend saying, "I'm fine." Her friend is not sure whether she sent the message herself. My opinion would be probably not. One of Megan's friends said that she did get a call from her asking if she could come pick her up. I don't know when, it doesn't say when this was. Megan said she was walking along a rural road in the rain, but her friend was unable to go pick her up and help her. So apparently this Madden had previously dated Megan's mother, Pam Lewis. She later stated that she had been told that Megan left for Colorado with one of Madden's friends. She says she doesn't believe Madden was involved in her case and thinks that the friend that Megan supposedly went to Colorado with was the one responsible. Well, of course she would say that if she had previously dated the person, the man that her daughter was dating and was in a DV relationship with. So I would, in my opinion, I would take that information definitely with lots of grains of salt. In February of 2017, he led police on a high-speed chase through Rice County and Barton County, Kansas, and was arrested later that day. He was charged with aggravated assault in that case and sentenced to probation. Oh, he had a bunch of stuff going on. Searches of his property turned up 2 crates containing 24 metal, I don't know what words I can say on here that's not going to strike me. Bang bangs, pipe bang bangs, 2 live military ordnance projectiles, 12 containers of smokeless powder, a torpedo, firearms. Madden told police that he'd been making and setting off these bang bangs for fun since he was a child. He said he found one of the firearms in Iraq while serving there with the Marines, and he brought it back to the U.S. in April of 2019. He was indicted on 1 count of illegal possession of a machine gun. Later that month, he GSW'd a county undersheriff 5 times at a traffic stop in Sterling, Kansas. There was a woman and child with Madden in the vehicle at the time. After the incident, Madden drove to his residence, retrieved firearms and ammunition, drove to his father's home in Raymond, Kansas, and GSW'd him, unalived him. When police arrived at the scene that evening, Madden GSW'd the sheriff. He exchanged gunfire with other officers, and after a 6-hour standoff, authorities stormed the residence and found Madden's body inside. He had GSW'd himself. So foul play is suspected in Megan's case, and her disappearance remains unsolved. So this fella was a very, obviously, Very, very bad dude. So if you have any information in Megan's case, you can call the Ross County Sheriff's Office at 620-257-7876. And let me see if I had maybe this article. I don't. Let me see if it'll let me read all of it. Oh, of course not. From the Wichita Eagle again. So it I think basically this article was just about what we went over about Madden, about the standoff and all his extracurricular activities that he was doing. Unbelievable. All right. Get that one going. Let me check your comments. See where I was at. There is where I was at. Junior says, if I could get up and go to work whenever I wanted to, I'd never go to work. Yeah, sometimes I have to make myself, but with what I do, I can make my own hours. I do Spark deliveries, shop and deliver, grocery deliveries for Walmart. So, but after, all of us have probably worked hard all of our lives. I mean, I started babysitting when I was old enough to babysit, or probably before I was old enough to babysit. Worked at a daycare center for almost 3 years, my junior year, senior year, and the summer after I graduated, I worked at a daycare center. Then I went straight to 10 years in food service, having to get up at either all hours of the morning if I worked the morning shift to open, or worked all hours of the night if I was a closer. And then I did 15 years at Wally World with, retail. And I had to get up at, 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning. First 2.5, 3 years I worked at Wally World, I was overnight, unloading trucks and stocking. And then I went to day shift. So I had to get up 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning for 15 years. So now I'm just like, whenever I get up and decide to go out and do some work, that's when I'm going to go. I've had my feel of getting up at the crack of dawn. Chris says he is familiar with Megan's case. Yeah, I think I've definitely had heard of this case before. I think it did get a lot more attention than a lot of these cases. Dandy says she works for herself and she needs a better boss. So that's one thing I like about what I'm doing now is I'm basically my own boss. So I don't have any, a supervisor looking over my shoulder all the time, especially like when I was at Wally World. Drove me nuts. Yep. Definitely red flags. Yeah, Mr. James says, sounds like there's something going on there. Yep. Yeah, pews. Yeah. I have to be careful how I say stuff because they have demonetized some. Because after I hit 1,000 subs, I was eligible to have ads, and which I'm not in it for the money. I mean, whatever money I get is good. It goes straight back into the channel, to pay for StreamYard and things of that nature. But and it's so funny because Arctic is always saying the live stream that Arctic was on when we talked about the Britt McGee case and the monster or the dad that took out the predator, and Arctic, was cussing up a storm on that, which is fine. That did not get demonetized, but the video that I put out on Shakimia Pate, it got demonetized for some reason. So go figure. It's YouTube for you. Oh. All right. Let me get caught up. Did I miss somebody? Try to make sure nobody snuck in on me while I was reading. Junior wants to know, is anyone going to the memorial walk for the Flora 4 girls? He talked to Jinx today. How's Jinxie doing? I haven't seen her around. I haven't seen her in a lot of chats lately or anywhere. I know, I believe, I don't know if she was at, actually she was on for a minute. Frank Meister was doing one of his live streams. I think maybe the first day of the Delphi trial, and she came on for just a little bit with him, but I don't know if she was actually in Delphi or what. But and I think, well, she may have been, because I think in his video I watched his live stream when they were doing the walk for Abby and Libby. She may have been there, but don't quote me on that. Yes, he does. He does have creepy eyes, if you're talking about this Madden guy. Most definitely. Junior says he is going to the Flora walk. That's true. Mescal says we've got to stop these incidents. It starts with education about personal responsibility and spirituality. Absolutely. Yeah, I think Miss Barbara's talking about Madden's eyes. Yep. Night, Arctic. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. Get some rest. Get some rest. Good to have you here. I was stalking. Who was I stalking? Am I stalking somebody? There's Miss Duchess. Hello, Miss Duchess. She says, listening in my ear pods while I finish dishes and laundry. Just wanted to say hi, Southern Gal, and chat. Back to shores, smashing the like. Thank you, Miss Duchess. Definitely do check out Miss Duchess. She does a wonderful job. Wonderful advocate. Wonderful. Shows all missing persons right and left. Her and Arctic. I can't keep up with them. I try to share all that I can from them on my community tabs. If somebody here, Dandy or somebody, since Arctic is gone, or he may have done it, throw in Miss Duchess's link to her channel. It's getting caught up. And then we will get yeah. Miss Lisa Joe says we need to make a swear jar for Arctic videos. Donate that to charity. Absolutely. Oh, you talking about Miss Frankie from the think tank? Dandy said Frankie got completely demonetized. Got to be careful with our words. How is she doing? I've noticed that she hasn't posted or done any lives in a long time. Is she doing okay? I try to keep up. I go through and check to see, what my creators are, that I like to watch are doing. But I think she may have done a short recently, but that's the last, and I think the last live I saw that she had done was maybe 2 months ago. I hope everything's going okay with her. Night, Junior. Good to have you here, sir. Yes, absolutely. Miss Gail said, too many work years too. I got so used to getting up at 5:30. I wake up before. Yeah, I would always wake up, uh, especially when I was having to get up at like 6 o'clock when I worked at Wally World, and it never failed. At like 4:30 or 5, I would have to get up to use the bathroom, and I would never be able to go back to sleep because I'm like, man, I got to be up in an hour, and I can never go back to sleep. It drove me batty. Thank you, Mr. James. Thank you for being here. You have a blessed night also, sir. Get some rest. Stalking. I know I said stalking. STOCKING. Stalking product. I don't know. I probably stalked a little bit too. We love you too, Miss Paula. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dandy. There is Miss Dutch's link to her channel. Please do check her out. Okay, so Miss Frankie is good. Had to take some time off for her family. Excellent. I'm glad she is okay. Yes, they do. Yes. Miss Gail said these perps seem to always have sinister eyes. Absolutely. Who is it? Is Mr. Steve always says Mrs. Steve is about the eyes, says tells him to look at the eyes. Gail, Miss Frankie is the think tank is her channel. She's in my friends list on the homepage of my channel. She, I believe, is in Canada also. You're most welcome, Miss Duchess. Absolutely, ma'am. All right. Let me mark that so I'll know where I left off, and we will get to the next one. Okay. Next, we have Stanley C. Galbraith. Let me get his information. Stanley went missing on November 1st, 1980 from Winfield, Kansas. He's a white male. He was 37 years old at the time he went missing. He will be 81 years old today. At the time he went missing, he was 5'9". Sorry, nose vision. 160 to 190 pounds. He was last seen wearing a red flannel shirt, bib overalls, insulated underwear, ankle boots, and a blue baseball cap with a red letter P on it. He had black hair and blue eyes. He wore a short black beard at the time of his disappearance. Excuse me, he has stitches in his head, and he has a tattoo of the name Beth on his upper right arm, and his nickname is Stan. So Stanley left his Winfield, Kansas home, it says sometime in November of 1980. He was heading to work. He drove an 18-foot refrigerated meat truck for Prairie Land Processors, which was a Winfield meat processing plant. The truck was bound for Hutchinson, Kansas. Stanley made scheduled stops and deliveries in Wichita and at the Valley Center High School, but he never arrived in Hutchinson as planned. So witnesses saw the truck driving erratically and sideswiping parked cars that day. The next day, he was found in a parking lot in Wichita. There was no sign of Stanley at the scene, but his sunglasses and his baseball cap were found in the cab, and also some of his blood was found also. 250 boxes containing 15,000 pounds of processed beef valued at over $20,000 was missing from the truck. So I can all assume we can say what the motive was here. Stanley is presumed to be the victim of a homicide, but his body has never been found. Posted with this case are two sketches of a suspect seen driving the truck and then leaving it in the parking lot. I put one of the sketches there. The other sketch was basically the same, except the other sketch had him wearing sunglasses, but it was the same facial features. So Stanley was declared legally deceased in 1985. Police investigating his presumed homicide believe that his life was taken so somebody could steal all the meat, and that more than one person was involved in the crime. It says that Stanley was a graduate of Winfield High School. He did play football there. He left behind a wife and children when he vanished, and his case remains unsolved. So you imagine somebody taking somebody's life, most likely but I mean, and this was back in what, 1980, and processed beef costs that much. It costs a whole heck of a lot more now. But 250 boxes, 15,000 pounds, valued at over $20,000. Unbelievable. Okay, so if you have any information, you can call the Cowley County Sheriff's Office. Doesn't give the number, or the Kansas Bureau of Investigation at 785-296-4017. And I don't know if I had, I could not find any additional information, articles about this case. But like I said, if this Charley information is correct, we know what the motive was. It's unbelievable. All right, let me get to your comments. You are most welcome. Miss Marion says, thank you all for putting our stories out there of our loved ones. I'm doing all the hard work and giving us support. I'm getting some justice for all good. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Miss Marion. Thank you for being here. Have a good night. Get some rest. Absolutely. Miss Lisa Jo finally got done with the poster. So who were you making the poster of? I know Madison. I think I'm friends with her on Facebook, or I've seen her on Facebook. I'm just being nosy about what missing person you're doing a poster of. Hey, don't ever apologize for spelling. Yeah. When I try to type, my fingers get ahead of my brain. Paula said, who is Beth? Unless I missed something, I don't know. I don't know who Beth is. Sorry, I had to get a drink. My throat's getting scratchy. My comments just jumped. Ms. Paula asked if anyone has seen the National Lampoon movies. I've seen the Christmas one. I can only take so much. I can only watch so much of them. Yes, Chris says Stanley's case is crazy. Yeah, for meat. I mean, I know it's evidently worth a lot of money, even back then, but man. Thank you, Miss Gail, for being here. Thank you. Get some sleep, get some rest. I'm sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh, there's Aquarian. If you commented before, I'm sorry I didn't see you. Hello, Aquarian. Good to have you here. Always. Just getting caught up. Every time I get caught up, more pop up, but that's okay. All right, I'm caught up. So I'll mark that one. That way I know where I'm at. Next we have Michael Eugene Golub, or Golub. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Michael went missing on May 20th of 2005 from Stanton County, Kansas. He's a white male, 27 years old, 6'2", 165 to 180 pounds. He was last seen wearing a t-shirt, jeans, a hat, work boots, and sunglasses. And it says his clothing was grease stained. He has brown hair and blue eyes. His nicknames are Mike and California Mike. He has a tattoo on his right shoulder of the cartoon character Sonic the Hedgehog with the words Milkman written underneath it. So Michael was last seen in Stanton County at around 6 p.m. on May 20th, 2003. He had just finished work at his shop at Kramer Harvesting, and he was supposed to pick up his 5-year-old son at his ex-girlfriend's home, but apparently he never arrived there, and he has never been seen or heard from again. He left behind a fiance with whom he did have an infant son. So I had a 5-year-old son with the ex-girlfriend, and then he had a infant son with his fiance. So I had 2 children. It says it is uncharacteristic of him to leave without warning. His golden brown Chevy S10 pickup truck with toolboxes and a Trego County, Kansas license plate was found abandoned on a remote country road in northwest Grant County, Kansas, 2 days after he disappeared. After the truck was located, authorities began investigating his disappearance as a potential homicide. Shannon Albers Floyd, who was his ex-girlfriend, and her husband, Chad Floyd, were arrested and charged with first-degree homicide and conspiracy to commit homicide in his case in June of 2006. Authorities believe that he went to their home and was GSW'd on the night of his disappearance. Now, as for motive, well, it says there was a great deal of animosity between Shannon and Michael, and they frequently disagreed. So Shannon was his ex-wife, right? I gotta get everybody straight. I'm assuming Shannon was the ex-wife or ex-girlfriend who he had the 5-year-old with. So there's a great deal of animosity between Shannon and Michael. They frequently disagreed over child support and visitation issues relating to their son. The Floyds wanted to move to Montana, but they were unable to do so because Michael had filed for custody of his son. So Chad, who comes from a wealthy family, told friends that he planned to offer Michael $50,000 to drop his custody suit. So Michael's blood was found on the Floyd's front porch after his disappearance. It had apparently dripped down between the planks of the porch. The couple had also purchased a firearm the day that he went missing. So that's not suspicious. The Floyd's defense attorney said there was insufficient proof that Michael was deceased. However, the defense speculated that he had taken his own life or left of his own accord, or that his role as an informant in a local substance case had led to his disappearance. At the couple's July 2007 trial, the jury was unable to reach a unanimous verdict and a mistrial was declared. A second trial was conducted in April of 2008, but once again, the jury was unable to reach a verdict. And in November of 2008, a judge dismissed all charges against Shannon and Chad. But it was they were dismissed without prejudice, which means that prosecutors can refile charges at a later date if more evidence surfaces that strengthens their case against them. So that is a good thing. Michael is originally from California. He moved to Kansas as a teenager. He never graduated from high school. He did support himself for a time, performing odd jobs in the area, sometimes as an auto mechanic. His employers at Kramer Custom Harvest stated that he was a good and reliable employee. His body has never been found. Foul play is suspected in his case due to the circumstances. So if you have any information in Michael's case, you can call the Kansas Bureau of Investigation at 800 KS Crime. And let me see if I had a article. I do have an article, I believe. If I can get it to load. Yeah, it's taking its sweet time. Hold on, I might have to do a new tab. Maybe it'll come up. Found the right one. While I'm waiting for them to come up. Just look through your comments while I'm waiting for it to my article to load. Oh, okay. The tattoo he had, the name was Beth. So I don't know if it was his former girlfriend, his fiance. I don't know, but that's the tattoo that he had. It's good to see you too, Aquarian. Had a long day. I understand that completely. Yes. Yeah, the Grizzly Girls go to Wally's World. Yeah, the theme park. Yeah, Wally World is what I call Walmart. So if I ever say Wally World, I mean Walmart. Hey, Cash, welcome. Good to have you here. Good to see you. Now we're talking about The Breakfast Club. I love that movie. Anthony Michael Hall was in The Breakfast Club. Absolutely. Aquarian says, I don't understand why some people feel the need to unalive their mates or exes. Pure evil. I agree. Yes, Bender was also my favorite in yes. Bender, he's one of my favorite characters of all time. Yep, Cash also says, I said similar in the chat earlier, why do people unalive each other? Yeah, it's, yes, one of my favorite lines. Miss Barbara says she saw Breakfast Club on her 21st birthday. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Yes, Chris's, or Michael's case is crazy, Chris says, absolutely. Dandy says she was 6 in 85 when Breakfast Club came out. I was 14 in 85. Chris said he was 1 when it came out. You're a youngin'. All right, I am caught up. Let me see if my article ever loaded. There it is. Okay, so this article is from May of 2018. It says it was 13 years ago today that family and friends last saw or heard from Michael Golub. The 27-year-old was on his way to pick up his 5-year-old son, Mikey, at Clint and Shannon Floyd's rural Stanton County home. It was Golub's weekend for a visit with his son, who he shared with Shannon Floyd, a former girlfriend. He told his employer that he'd be right back, but he never returned. Get rid of some of these ads. Friends and family nailed missing flyers to telephone poles around the area. Golub's boss, Eric Kramer, with Kramer Custom Harvest, searched Stanton County's remote terrain by helicopter. Several days later, Golub's pickup truck was discovered on an isolated Stanton County road, causing Sheriff Ed Mazzona to bring in the Kansas Bureau of Investigation to help with the case. A year later, Chad and Shannon Floyd were charged with his homicide. Like we talked about, during 2 trials, prosecutors with the Kansas Attorney General's office claimed that DNA found on Floyd's porch matched DNA taken from a cigarette butt in Golub's pickup truck. Defense attorneys argued, among other things, that because his body was never found, prosecutors could not be confident that he was deceased. Meanwhile, like we talked about earlier, 2 juries were unable to reach verdicts in the case, and the charges were dismissed in November of 2008. So it says the connections located in the far southwest corner of Kansas, 18 miles from the Colorado border. Johnson City looks almost the way it did the day that Michael Golub went missing. There is a new rural health clinic, and the Stanton County Hospital has an addition, plus new pool house under construction at the community swimming. Other than that, turning into town looks the same as it did 10 years ago, with Chad's, and he's one of the bad guys, alleged bad guys, twin brother Clint Floyd's law office still on the corner of Main Street. And then there is a First National Bank where a cousin, Chris Floyd, is president. And next door is a farm office of more Floyd relatives, Melvin Winger and family. So this town is full of alleged or family members of the alleged offender. It says the Floyd and the Winger families date back to 1887. When John Frederick Winger first arrived in Stanton County, they made their fortune farming the land. So that's when they said, I think in the Charley Project information, that they came from money. Michael Golub was 15 when his family moved to Johnson in 1994 from California after his mother, Deb, married Jim Hines. The couple met dancing at a lounge in Victorville, California, and came to Johnson to be closer to Hines's family in the area. I'm just waiting for the truth to be known, said Hines, who works for the city of Johnson. He briefly halted picking up trash to talk on a recent morning. There had been an enormous loss in Hines' life when his stepson went missing, which is Michael, but his grief grew more profound when his soulmate and Michael's mother, Deb, passed away in her sleep. He says, we like 6 months of being together for 21 years. The Hines had gone to the casino in Dodge City to celebrate Deb's 60th birthday in January of 2011. The next morning, he came into the bedroom and discovered her deceased. Oh, it was heartbreaking. He says she had a glow and a slight smile on her face. He believed the emotional stress of never knowing her son's fate, plus going through 2 trials and ending with hung juries, weighed on her. Compounding that was the stress of not seeing their grandson Mikey since 2005. He says that was difficult because Shannon has custody of Mikey. In 2008, Deb Golub spoke to the Hutchinson News about her missing son. Deb said that Shannon Floyd was Shannon Albers back in 1998 when she came to Johnson with a harvesting crew, driving a truck and cooking for the workers. After Mikey was born in 2000, they did not marry, but Shannon was a part of the Golub family, at least for a while. The relationship ended, but nothing could change the bond that Michael had with his son. After Shannon married Chad Floyd, she would bicker with Michael over the custody of Mikey. Though Mikey lived with Shannon, he did have weekend visitation. And by 2005, Michael had initiated court proceedings to gain custody. During the trial, there was evidence presented that Shannon and Chad sold a $50,000 bank share with the First National Bank, allegedly to pay off Michael in exchange for relinquishing his parental duties. However, Deb told the news her son would never have accepted the money for his beloved son. She says, or Hines says, the last we knew, they, meaning Shannon, Chad, and the Mikey, were in Burlington, Colorado. Over the years, an anonymous person has sent the Hines clippings from the Burlington newspaper whenever Mikey was in the news for some school event. Hines says, we never met that person in our life. Hines said they are close to Michael's other son that he had with his fiancee, Brooke. Cameron, 13, was less than a year old when his father went missing. Wilkerson has married and carried on with her life, but she remains close to the Golub Hines family. Meanwhile, Mikey did not attend his grandmother's funeral, though he was among the survivors listed in her obituary. Most of the town's residents have carried on with their lives, healing from the events back in 2005 and the two trials, which brought CBS television crews to town to film a 48 hours mystery segment on the case. Back in 2008, Kirk Kearns, Shannon Floyd's attorney, blamed the lack of a verdict on rumors in a small town. I think the community has been whipped up into a frenzy. The rumor mill has spun the case to where it's hard to find people who have not formed an opinion one way or another. New locals like Richard Winger, a distant cousin to the Floyds, and his wife have moved on. They no longer own the Bees Wings bed and breakfast where Chief Judge Jack Lively slept during both of the trials. Marie Winger never wanted the Floyds to be guilty. Plus, she said they have never proved that Michael is deceased. Well, that's a matter of opinion. Marie says people believe Michael is out there. She added that Evelyn Floyd Winger, a matriarch of the clan, had a strong influence on her progeny. She says they were raised right not to be offenders. So, yeah, it sounds like a little bit of the good old boy system going on in that town. I'm not going to read the rest of this. It's talking about that's all the important information. But, yeah, in my opinion, sounds like the good old boy system. Because the family of the alleged offenders sounds like they basically own the town. They were old money in the town. All right, let me get into your comments. Let's see. Mr. Steve said he started his law enforcement career in 1985. You're still a young'un too, Mr. Steve. Let's see here. Yes, Mr. Steve has done everything in law enforcement and CSI that you can possibly do. For anybody that may be here that does not know Mr. Steve. Thank you, Cash, is sending love vibes to all. Thank you very much. Miss Duchess is off to walk the dogs, but we're still in her ear. Cash said he told Duchess he is behaving. Are you a misbehavior, Cash? Don't misbehave in here. The other night we had to, and I know you're not misbehaving, but on the stream the other night we had to ban and throw out our first person ever on this channel. I've never had any problems. And it was a person that had been in chat before and never caused any problems, but he just took it somewhere it shouldn't have gone, and Arctic took care of him. But anyway, this is a wonderful community. Wonderful community. Absolutely. Miss Duchess says prayers for the missing in Kansas. Absolutely. I love that. Miss Duchess said her puppy's name is Harley Raven. I think on some of her live streams, she's Harley has been has made an appearance. Beautiful pup. Yes, absolutely, Miss Barbara. Before I hadn't even got to that comment yet, Miss Barbara says sounds like a lot of the good old boy system. Yep, absolutely. That was my first thought when I read that. Yeah. Also, I believe Chris said True Barb, and it seems like that in your area. Yep, that Fredericktown area. Yep, Duchess agrees. She said a lot of these cases seem like that in her opinion. I agree. Cash says he's behaving. You don't talk too much. You can talk as much as you want. All we ask is, we're no victim or family bashing, and be respectful of everybody in chat. So far, we got a good crowd in here tonight, as always. Thank you, Dandy. She put in Mr. Steve's link again for True Crime Web. All right, I'm caught up with comments again. Whew, let's get going. I don't know how many more I got. Okay, so this is Zeta Gordon. I should have already had her information loading. Hopefully, it won't take too long. Oh, there we go. Zeta went missing on October 5th, 1992 from Atchison County, Kansas. She's a white female. She was 43 years old when she disappeared. She will be 75 today. At the time she disappeared, she was 5'5", 105 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes. She wore contact lenses and she had pierced ears. Zeta was last seen as she left her family's residence in Atchison County, Kansas at around 2 a.m. on October 5th, 1992. Once again, after an argument with her husband, Wayne Gordon. But I think somebody did see her after she left the house. So she says she wanted to take a drive to cool off. Well, it says she has never been heard from again. She left behind 3 children between the ages of 9 and 23. So one of the children did see her leaving the house, so she did leave the house. So it wasn't just the husband saying we got into an argument and left on this one. Somebody actually saw her leave the house. So 2 of her children discovered her white Chrysler LeBaron parked in a lot near an abandoned farmhouse in Atchison County the following day. Her purse and a suitcase were located inside the car. The convertible top was down. The keys were in the ignition. The radio was turned on, but there was no sign of Zeta at the scene. And it was after they found her car that her children did report her missing. It says there were about 10 possible sightings of Zeta in the local area in the weeks after her disappearance. Some reported by people who did know her, so they could be credible sightings, but none of them were confirmed. Her husband, Wayne, a dentist and the son of a former Kansas state senator, divorced Zeta in January of 1994 and he remarried in 1997. He apparently took his own life in January of 1998. I won't go into the details of what he did, but he did it at a Boy Scout camp where he had often volunteered. He left no note and no indication as to his reasoning why. Police did not call him a suspect in Zeta's disappearance, but many rumors about his possible involvement circulated in the local community, and he was considered a person of interest in her case. Zeta was studying interior design at the time of her disappearance. Authorities believe that she was the victim of a homicide, as it would be uncharacteristic of her to abandon her children and her elderly mother, and her case remains unsolved. So if you have any information regarding Zeta's case, call the Atchison County Police Department at 913-367-4323. And I don't know if I have any additional information. Oh, just the only thing I found was about her husband taking his own life. So I'm not going to go into the details. Just says former Belleville dentist Dr. Wayne Gordon was found deceased Tuesday at a Boy Scout camp south of Atchison, where he spent many hours as a volunteer. Says before he disappeared, he had asked a family member to call his office and tell them that he wouldn't be in that afternoon. They found no note. And then it talks about Zeta's disappearance. So that was the only thing really additional that I found on that case. All right. Get in your comments for a second. Mr. Steve is checking in and out, finishing up with his Google machine files. I think Mr. Steve said he was through with his traveling for this year, unless something maybe comes up, emergency. So maybe he can get some rest. Are you having any luck with the Google machine, Mr. Steve, or is it fighting with you? Thank you very much for subbing to Mr. Steve. Chris said he's never heard of Zeta's case. Yeah, I hadn't. You just noticed yeah, I'm right here. Cash said I only just noticed she is on camera at the side. Yeah, sometimes I turn my camera off and on, but yeah, Senator. Yeah. So I'm not saying that her husband had anything to do with it, but it's just kind of whenever you have a spouse that disappears and then the spouse who is left might not have had anything to do. Maybe he had nothing to do with it and he was so distraught over her going missing that's why he decided to take his own life. Or it could be, just devil's advocate. He had something to do with it and that's why. But they said he did not leave a note as to why he wanted to do that. But yeah, his father, it said, was a senator. Hi, Cash. Now that you found me, I'm here. Hello, Miss Christina Strife. Became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. We get to break out the cow again, add it to the pasture. Good to see you, Christina. Hadn't seen you around in a while. How's your sister doing? I hope she is doing well. Oh, I don't know. It didn't say Paula. Paula asked if the ex is still a senator. Now, her husband or the ex-husband, he took himself out. So Yes, Dandy says, welcome to the farm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, no worries. No worries. Nobody ever has to apologize for anything. I think I'm pronouncing it right. It is strife, right? Strife or strife. I think it's strife. All right. Right. I think we have, yeah, this is our last one. This is Angela Green. Let me get her information. Oh, it's already up. Okay. So Angela, we're missing on June 19th, 2019 from Prairie Village, Kansas. She's an Asian female, 51 years old. She was 5'9", 116 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Her ears are pierced. She was born in China. She moved to the U.S. in 1998 when she married. So Angela was last seen at her home in the 7600 block of Tomahawk Road in Prairie Village, Kansas on June 20th, 2019. Her daughter, Ellie Green, who is a student at the University of Kansas, had just gotten home from having studied abroad in Italy. Ellie and Angela got into an argument. Angela asked Ellie to leave, so Ellie left to stay with her boyfriend's family. She said the argument, it wasn't serious, although her mother had never asked her to leave the house before. She did not hear from her mother for 3 days. Then her father, Jeffrey, sent Ellie, which is the daughter, a text message saying that Angela had had a mental health crisis and he had had her committed to a psychiatric hospital. Get your red flags ready. It says that he had threatened to do this in the past, but he had never actually followed through with it. He did not provide any specifics about the hospital, Angela's diagnosis or prognosis, saying that the hospital was just down south and she would stay in it, quote, until she gets better. So Ellie's boyfriend's mother asked if she could visit Angela, but Jeffrey ignored that request. And 3 weeks later, Ellie asked to meet with her father so that they could talk about her mother. They met on the evening of July 16th, and Jeffrey told Ellie and her boyfriend and his family that Angela had died of a stroke while she was in the hospital. So the plot thickens. Of course, he didn't provide many details about her passing, and he asked everyone not to tell Angela's family, who all lived in New York. Months passed. There was no funeral services held. No obituary was published. No one informed Angela's family of her passing. In February of 2020, Ellie finally told her maternal aunt. Her aunt asked for a copy of Angela's death certificate. Jeffrey told Ellie that he had a copy in the house and he would text her a photo of it, but of course he never did. Ellie went to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment in Topeka and asked for a copy. They were unable to find proof of Angela's passing even after a nationwide search. They could only locate Angela and Jeffrey's marriage certificate. Angela's sister asked the police to do a welfare check on Angela. When the police went to the house, Jeffrey claimed that his wife was alive and well and had run away with a friend. So this is what, the 3rd or 4th or 20th story that he has now. He did not provide any details about this friend or the vehicle they left in. Ellie then filed a missing persons report with the police. So Angela left her purse, her phone, passport, driver's license, and car, everything behind at home. and had not removed any money from her bank account since she was last seen. According to Ellie, her mother did not use a credit or debit card. She did not go shopping on her own, and she hardly ever left the house without her husband or Ellie accompanying her. She was a stay-at-home mother. She was devoted to Ellie, who was her only child. Jeffrey has hired a lawyer. He has refused to speak further to the police or the media about Angela's case. Ellie stated he has not provided any more information to her about Angela's whereabouts. The police are not sure what happened to her, but they believe that she is endangered. In my opinion, we always hope for the best, but in my opinion, she's most likely not on this earth anymore. But her case remains unsolved. Hopefully she is out there somewhere. But so if you have any information on Angela's case, you can call the Prairie Village Police Department at 913-642-6868. And I think I did have maybe a couple of short articles, maybe an interview with her daughter. Stop my cam for a minute. So this article is from, it's actually recent, September of 2024 of this year. It says Angela Green was a quiet woman, keeping to herself and rarely leaving her home, but the trail she left behind after her 2019 disappearance has somehow been even quieter. Conflicting information from her husband Jeff led the couple's daughter Ellie to keep the news of her supposed passing a secret for months. The story only began to unravel after Ellie, who was 19 at the time, confided in her family that something felt wrong. In the years since, Angela's case has received widespread attention, and it is under active investigation. Her niece, Michelle, says she does not want to stop until she and her family have answers. At the time of her disappearance, Angela was a 51-year-old wife and mother of one. She was born in China and maintained a long-distance relationship through phone calls and letters with her future husband, Jeff Green. In the late 1990s, she moved to the U.S. on a fiance visa, and she lived with her older sister's family, the Guos, before the wedding. During that time, Angela's niece, Michelle Guo, quote, gravitated towards her. Angela was known to be a shy person, but Michelle, who was 7 at the time, shared a special connection with her. And Michelle says, my aunt and I had a really special bond when we were younger. We would do crafts together, and she also helped to watch me when my parents were at work. The first couple of months when she was living with my family, we were so close, and everything just seemed so great and happy. After Angela married Jeff, Michelle says she became more isolated than before. Then, when the couple's only child was born, Ellie, the isolation deepened. Aside from gardening or driving Ellie to and from school, Angela rarely left home. Captain Adam Taylor says she was never employed. She never had a credit card. She had only been to the dentist twice, to the doctor once when Ellie was born. Captain Taylor was a detective sergeant for the Prairie Village Police Department at the time of Angela's disappearance. He has since become the Staff Services Department captain, but stays involved in the case. During the investigation, Ellie told detective that her mom was very protective of her. And when she turned 19 and committed to attending college at the University of Kansas, Angela was not happy. Captain Taylor says she was nervous to the point that she did not want her to leave. Michelle agreed, saying Angela had been struggling a lot with Ellie's growing independence. The problem came to a head when Ellie went on a study abroad trip in the spring of 2019 without telling her mom. She knew Angela would be upset, but when she returned, they got into an argument. So that was what the argument was about. They got into an argument over it, and Angela kicked her out. That fight was on June 20th, 2019. And as Ellie left to stay with her boyfriend and his family, it will be the last time she saw her mother. For nearly every major plot point in Angela's disappearance, there's a different version of the story. Only a few things are certain. On June 20th of 2019, they had the fight, and Angela kicked Ellie out. So the father first said that he had checked Angela into a mental health facility against her will. According to Michelle, Jeff said he tricked Angela into being committed by taking her to a grocery store parking lot where she was taken away by, quote, the mental health people, which was easier than, quote, trying to pry her out of the house. Ellie asked to visit her mom. Jeff would not allow it. He said Angela had gotten physical with him and would not tell her the specific facility that she was supposedly in. Several weeks passed like this with the news of Angela's commitment kept a secret from the rest of the family at Jeff's request. Then in mid-July, that's when his story changed to say that Angela had passed away. It said he just told Ellie that her mom had passed away of a stroke in the facility and that the staff there had found her deceased that morning. And just like he had told Ellie before, he said that she had to keep this secret from my family. Man. According to Michelle, Ellie pushed back, but Jeff told her, quote, he needed time to process things and that he would tell my family when he was ready. And for 7 months, she did as her father asked, but after months had passed, Ellie just could not carry this heavy secret around anymore. In February 2020, Ellie called Michelle's mom to give her the news that Jeff had given her 7 months prior. And my mom was in complete shock, Michelle said, but not only was she shocked, she was suspicious. Well, yeah. Michelle's mom called her, asking her to connect with Ellie and help figure out what happened to Angela. After Michelle heard Ellie's story, she called the Prairie Village police and asked them to check on Angela. That was when the police arrived. The story changed again. I think that was he changed it to she ran off somewhere with a friend. Officers kind of were trying to clarify, well, why would the family say that she's deceased? And he says, I don't know, that's weird. The officers returned the next day. Still, there was no Angela. This time, Jeff told them there are times that she leaves on her own at times and doesn't come back for several days. But yet, there are reports that she very rarely left the house on her own. She had been to the dentist twice and the doctor once when she had her child. So that makes no sense whatsoever. Soon, Jeff stopped talking at all. Before we could introduce ourselves or even say hi, he had a flannel shirt on. He had a pocket. He pulled a card out. He handed it to us and said, you can contact my attorney. I'm not saying anything. As the investigation unfolded and officers talked to different family members to gather their accounts of what had happened, the story only fragmented further. Throughout other interviews from different people, we're getting different versions of what they are being told as well, because we've reached out and interviewed a lot of family members. Angela truly seemed to have disappeared without a trace. A major complication in the investigation is the lack of a paper trail. Angela's phone, keys, and ID were left at home. There are no records of her being forcibly committed to a mental health facility, no death certificate. There's no evidence that she had left the country. Captain Taylor said, we don't have any indication that she is alive, and we don't have any indication that she is deceased either. With assistance from the FBI, the search started at the Green family home. We had a cadaver dogs at the Tomahawk address and at the site with us. They did not yield any results for us, unfortunately. The site was a 35-acre lot that Jeff used to store collectible cars and parts. Captain Taylor said his team had over 125 officers out there, including recruits from the police academy. We spent the whole day of searching it grid by grid, combing the entire lot. There was a pond on the lot, so the Overland Park Police Department brought its dive team out. They came up empty-handed. Another complication was that during the first months that Angela was missing, the new Johnson County Courthouse was being built. The dirt from the construction site was brought to the lot that Jeff was renting. And so there was like 30 feet of dirt that was compounded from the ground up. So there could be all sorts of different places during that 8 months time that somebody could have been out there. That is definitely suspicious. Every year, Angela's missing poster is recirculated in hopes that someone will come forward. Captain Taylor thinks someone in Angela's family has answers. They may be scared or too loyal to share. He says, I think someone in the family knows something, and for some reason they're scared to share it. As these years pass and nothing's happening, that has to be eating somebody else up as well. The Prairie Village Police Department has continued to reach out to Jeff in hopes of gathering more information. We have reached out to his lawyer a couple of times. They have decided to not have a comment. He has let us talk, and he'll sit there and listen, and then after a while, we'll talk as much as we can to get him to kind of understand that we are not going to stop this investigation. We're continuing with the investigation. We're going to gather as much evidence as we can, and then he'll say, okay, have a good day. And then he'll turn around and walk away. Ugh. Michelle was frank. She said her efforts aren't focused on finding her aunt alive, but on finding answers. She says, I don't believe my aunt is still alive. No one does. We don't believe she's still alive, so we are trying to find her remains. Captain Taylor's focus is similar. Put Angela Green's story to rest one way or another. Our ultimate goal is to find Angela and to either get her home safely or to have closure for Ellie and the rest of the family. So yeah, lots of stuff going on in that. Man. All right, let me get into your comments. I think that is the last one we had for the night. So let me get caught up with your comments. Get a drink. Sorry about that. That was a long article, but it had lots of good information. Interesting information. Oh, I did say it right. Strife. Thank you. I thought I remembered it was strife. That is possible. Paula says, could politics have been involved in her case? Absolutely possible. I can't remember. I got all this information going around in my head on all these cases, if he had any kind of connections or anything. But in my opinion, in this case, Angela would have been at a disadvantage because, and I hate to say it, it's probably one of those, if they even do it, let's say this was in, let's go back to her, 2000, I can't read that small writing, 14, 17. If he wasn't in the military and met her somewhere in China, it was probably one of those mail order bride kind of things, or whatever they call them now, or met over some kind of dating website, possibly. Because it said that she came to the United States and then got married to him. So, in my opinion, she would be at a disadvantage. I would say, in my opinion, I'm not in no way a professional psychologist of anything, but she was probably very submissive to him. Now, that's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm not a professional. So, sad case. Yep, this is true. Cash says politics is dangerous, so is Murdoch. Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about the good old boy system earlier. in some of these towns, more rural towns. What they call the good old boy club, the good old boy system. Thank you. Chris says Prairie Village is close to Kansas City. Then it says, well, that's sus. Yeah, the whole bunch in this case is sus. Absolutely. Then it says her first time hearing about Angela, mine too. I love, if you're talking about Rocky Horror Picture Show, I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. I haven't watched it in so long. That is a good idea. Cash says they are going to do the ancestry DNA thing soon. It's a good thing. I'm all about that. Using the genetic genealogy these days is solving or identifying a lot of remains of people that have been found, and also catching a lot of offenders. My middle brother actually did. I don't know if it's Ancestry or which one he used, but he did his DNA a few years back. Your dad doesn't want you to do the Ancestry DNA? Absolutely. Cash says, but familial DNA is the future to solving so many cases. Absolutely. In my opinion. Really? Dandy says she heard 23andMe is filing bankruptcy. Wow. Is 23andMe one of the ones that the law enforcement can use, or it's now which one is it that law enforcement can use? I don't know if it's Ancestry or I think there's two of them that law enforcement can actually go into without having to get permission. Christina says, last she heard, the entire board quit and bankruptcy seemed like the only thing that they could do. I wonder why the entire board quit. That is correct. Cash says the more missing cases solved, the smaller the search for the next. Absolutely. Yes, the more of us that when I say us, I mean creators, the community, you guys, family members of like Miss Barbara and Miss Marion and then Miss James, who have lost family members. The more we, all of us, spread awareness, the better. Yes, that is the whole goal of my channel. Then it says Southern Gal showcases many of unknown cases that get little to no attention. Absolutely. And it's not that I don't care about the bigger cases, but they are getting the national attention, and every other creator and their mom and their mama is, some of them are doing it the right way, like Duchess and Arctic, and then some of them we have the tragedy pimps that are just out to make a buck on these big cases. So I'll leave that to because they are getting the attention. I absolutely care about them, and I share the flyers, you know. But I do I love cold cases. I've always been fascinated with cold cases, and all these hundreds, thousands, millions of missing persons that nobody has ever heard of. They don't get national attention. They don't even get local attention from whatever town or state they're in. So I do my best to bring as many as I can. That's why we do this every Monday. We've been doing different states to bring some awareness to these cases. Excellent. Christina. Yeah, Miss Christina does a lot of genetic genealogy for people. Yes, I think I've been trying to get Miss Christina on the panel with me at some point. Thank you, Miss Sandy. Nope, you're not blocked. I can see you. You're not blocked. Cash says, stay safe, all. Miss Christina says, genealogy is a great hobby if you enjoy research and data visualization. You can really help a lot of people by assisting them with their trees, and family searches can be very rewarding. Absolutely. You don't talk too much, Cash. You're fine. Yep, you're not blocked. Cash thinks they should be blocked. Nah. Yep. So far, you haven't done anything to get blocked. Like I said, we have never, the first person that we Arctic blocked was in the last live stream we did talking about Brent's case, and the here in Arkansas, which Brent McGee's case is here in Arkansas. And I noticed Miss Christie had PM'd me on Messenger about some stuff going on, so I'm gonna have to check after this and see what's going on with that. And then we were talking about a predator groomer here in Arkansas that had kidnapped, lured out, groomed a 14-year-old and kidnapped her, and the daddy got to him before the police did and took care of him. And somebody in chat had some inappropriate things to say about that, so that person got blocked and booted. But that's the only person we've ever had. And speaking of that predator here in Arkansas, I found it popped up in because I was doing a search, looking at Google today to see if there's any other information that's been released about that. This predator had 43 counts against him. 43, all having to do with little ones with a tender age. 43, and he was out, and had got out on bail. I think it was like $50,000 bail he was out on when he kidnapped this, and it was just the second time at least that he had kidnapped, lured out this particular 14-year-old that daddy found her, found her with him. It's unbelievable, because I seen it when I found it. I immediately sent a PM to Arctic, and he's like, "What the you know what Arctic had to say about it?" It's just unbelievable. So infuriating. Jed match. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. Jed match. Christina said users at Jed match can give their own permission for police to use their DNA. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Miss Barbara says share, share, share. Absolutely. That's the most important thing you can do. Absolutely. Cash says even watching these videos helps, and live streams helps algorithm to spread names and photos. Absolutely. Yep. The more views they get, even on replay, because I get a lot of replay traffic on my live streams, which is fantastic. Yeah. Watching, sharing, commenting, liking, all those things are the most important things that you guys can do, or that we all can do, because I do it with other creators' videos. I watch them, I leave a comment, even if it's just my little heart and prayer hands emoji, and I share them. Absolutely. Yes, most definitely. I will get a hold of you. You can email me. Actually, your sister has emailed me. What am I looking for? Looking for my banners. there's my email. Feel free to email me, Southern Gal. Anybody can email me if you have any questions, comments, any cases are missing that you would like me to take a look at and share. southerngaltruecrime@hotmail.com. I will be more than happy. Woo, almost 3 hours. All right. I think I'm caught up. Yes, the catch and release. Absolutely, Miss Barbara. Catch and release rule 33. It's ridiculous. Absolutely. All right, guys. One more time. Do you want to put it back up so you can take, or I don't know if you're watching on the phone, you can take a screenshot of it. Hold on. Oh, I keep going to the wrong thing here. There it is. Just remember my channel name at hotmail.com. That's what it is. Actually, ask your sister. She has my personal email address because she's emailed me before. So you can get my personal one from her. I don't mind you having my personal one. Oh, back to comments. All right. Yes, Dandy says, I wish they'd stop giving predators plea deals and reduce sentences. Yeah. Because this guy that we were talking about the other night, he had been in Indiana, he had been a police chief and a school resource officer. And he has 43 counts against him. And he was out on bail when he had been taking advantage of this tender age girl for at least this whole summer here in Arkansas. Just unbelievable. And they had a restraining order of protection against him. He broke that. And that's how he got her the second time. It's just unreal. Cash says, Dandy, don't get me started. Yeah. All right. So one more time, let me go. Thank you once again, Miss Farr, for gifting 5 Southern Gal True Crime memberships. And another 5 for a total of 10 Southern Gal True Crime memberships. Farr, she's not a new member. She's been a member, but re-upped. So thank you. And Miss Christina became a new member. So thank you very much, Miss Christina. And everybody, whether you don't have to become a member or donate or just being a part of the community, like we said, watching the videos, watching the live streams, watching replays, liking, commenting, sharing, subbing, all that is just important or more important than this. So everybody gets a moo cow. That is a moo cow for everybody because everybody is important. I appreciate everything that everybody does so much. For everybody's support, hanging in there with me. We made it to 1,000 subs, surpassed it. So thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Dandy. Thank you. A moo dog. Cash is a moo dog. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Thank you, Miss Barbara. Absolutely. Thank you once again, Miss Farr. You're an angel. Thank you, Cash. Thank you to everybody who was here. I can't go back through we got so many comments here. Thank you so much to everybody that was here. Dandy says a cow puppy. Cow puppy. Once again, Miss Farr loves the cow. Yes, Miss Barb says sleep well, chat. Thank you, Miss Paula. Good to have everybody here. So, I probably will be able to be on probably Friday night or Friday and Saturday. We'll do some true crime after dark, something of that nature. So I'll have some videos uploaded for you guys for this week. Some missing, short videos on some missing, a case spotlight. I just got to get it recorded. I have one recorded so far. I got to get the other one recorded. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to try my best to get a members only video recorded. I have kind of a special Halloween-y themed members only video recorded and uploaded for the members. So be on the lookout for that. So once again, thank you everybody who was here in chat. Thank you to everybody who was new here tonight. Thank you everybody watching replay. Thank you everybody lurking. We love our lurkers. Have a good rest of your week, and I should see you Friday. Thanks, guys.